Hey everybody, welcome to Super Comic Fun Times from the Pile, episode 6. Now last week I decided not to do an episode because I had a lot of other things to do, and a lot of it was in preparation for the new movie Thor Ragnarok, which is in theaters now. I saw it on Thursday and I've posted a first impressions. I'm working on a more in-depth review, but while I have a minute or two here, I thought I would do this first part of this video. I looked for something from the pile. I'm really attracted to doing some DC, but since it's still kind of Thor's week, we're going to go with Thor. Now, this one is issue number 1, and Straczynski, Michael J. Straczynski is the first name on here. I'm going to assume that this is the first issue of his storied run. Now, on Thursday, and just Thursday, Amazon had 3 Kindle versions of Thor up for free. One was what was it called? The God Killer was one, and Walt Simonson Volume 3 was a second one. And as you know, I've got the full thing, but it's the full omnibus, but it still doesn't hurt to have a digital version of it, especially if you can get it for free. And then there was Michael J. Straczynski's run. I think it was Volume 1. I don't remember right now. I'll try to correct it when I come back for the second half of the video. But let's go ahead and look. Some guy is shaving on the back. It looks like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets all kinds of stuff in his car and then ends up in an accident, does he? I forget. It's hard to remember episodes of The Simpsons. So this is what it looks like. Let's look at this artwork first. It looks kind of cool. Now, if you remember when I took this out of the box, I think I got 2 from the Straczynski run. I got this one, and I got episode 4 or issue 4. And I didn't like the art on issue 4 that much. This art I kind of like. It gives you the idea that Thor is kind of looking down at you. It's like, yeah, you're a mortal looking up. So I kind of wonder, this is setting us up for something in this issue. Although, as we've seen before, the cover doesn't always have anything to do with what's actually in the book. So here we see the Fantastic Four from the movie. This was probably, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. So now we know when this came out. That was like, what, 2004, 2005? 2007. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah. Okay, well, I'll read this and I'll get back to you. For you, it'll be a few minutes. For me, it'll probably take a day because I'm in the middle of some stuff right now. So just hold on here. We're going to fade out. I might have a title card this week, so there might be a title card, and then we'll get into what this issue is about. Hold on, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. And so what we have here is Thor number 1 by Joe Straczynski. Now, you saw me flip this page open before. When I first saw this, my first thought was Babylon 5. Of course, that ended in, 1999? So it couldn't be, but of course, Joe Straczynski's in my mind. There's a lot of posing like this in Babylon 5. Which is probably one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I would think maybe number 3. I would say The Prisoner is probably number 1. Twin Peaks is number 2. And I haven't seen the new series yet. And then Babylon 5 would probably be my 3rd favorite show because it is just so good. So this book, unfortunately, I didn't find a whole lot to it. Essentially, it's a prologue. What happens is apparently Ragnarok or Fear itself, something happened, and Thor is dead, and all of the gods are dead. And, it's a comic book, so you can't stay that way. So you've got Thor, you've got Donald Blake, you've got I've known passion, I've known loss. And so, this whole book. Okay, so, this is probably the most interesting scene in it, and this was used in the Thor movie, I think, and Iron Man 2, at the end of Iron Man 2. So, hammer is just sitting on Earth, and all these guys are trying to get it, and then shroom, it takes off. And what's happening is the Donald Blake half is trying to convince the Thor half that he should come back to life. And so lots of pretty art, and Thor says, I'm happy being, they're in some in-between land. I'm happy being here. And Donald Blake, I think he went away in the Walt Simonson run, which I've showed you part of, the massive omnibus, and I think the Beta Ray Bill gets to become the dual personality, and Donald Blake goes away. I know somebody else comes in briefly and becomes the altar for Thor, and he's in the Infinity Gauntlet, but I kind of don't know that much about him. So yeah, there's no story here. There's a lot of, I don't like any of the ads in here. So this, I guess, is Mass Effect. I don't like it. I didn't like this ad here either, really. And so yeah, there's nothing happens. Donald Blake, they kind of relive things. There's different people in Thor's life, and the whole argument is that gods don't exist, or people don't exist for gods to be worshipped by gods, but gods exist for people. And so somehow the Donald Blake, first of all, they're in no place. They're in limbo, and somehow they're having this conversation, and Donald Blake kind of talks Thor into it. He goes, well, what about everybody else? Would it just be me alone? And he reiterates that gods exist as long as people want them to. Well, that's true for comic book characters. So the birth and death comes only through great pain. And so, yeah, I don't know. They're fighting something in this no world, and then, I am Thor. There's just no story here, really. It's all prologue. And so, he's Thor, then suddenly you get this guy walking, and it's Donald Blake, and he just finds a stick in the road, I guess. And that just turns out to be Molgenor, however you pronounce it. And then he meets this woman, and it's where are they now? I forget. It doesn't really matter. So he takes a room here. He's a doctor. Doesn't know how long he's going to be there. And it's just chit-chat. And, it's the woman's face keeps changing. Here it looks like that. There it looks like that. Then here it looks really cartoonish. I don't know what that's about. So then he goes to his room, which is room 216. Don't know if that number is significant. And he taps the hammer, and the lightning comes. Broom. And then you got the worst ad of all back here. It's I always hated these got milk ads. They're just gross. Wipe your mouth. So that's that. And there's another terrible ad. I'm hoping that the next story. Now I've got the. I told you in another video that Amazon last Thursday had some free collections, Thor collections, giving away, and one of them was the first volume of J. Michael Straczynski's. So, you compare this to the opening of Walt Simonson's run, and so much is happening, and it's so exciting, and it draws you in. I can't imagine how people reacted to this. And look, it's got a price. It's $2.99. If this was a free comic, a free comic book day, I'd be fine with it. I'd like it to be shorter. I think you could cut this by, I don't know, half, a quarter. You could take it down to a quarter its size, and then have a story after that still. So yeah, overall, I was disappointed. As if this were my jumping on point, which essentially it is for the J. Michael Straczynski era, I wouldn't be sure if I would be staying. I'm hoping that this next one will be better. So with that, I'm going to draw this episode of From the Pile to a close. I've got my review for Thor Ragnarok written, and I will do a on-camera review of that later. So it'll probably be out a week after the movie comes out. Yay for timeliness, but I struggled writing it. I was trying to write a good review. I think I might have got to mediocre, which I'm fine with that. Aim for good, hit mediocre, it's fine. And that, it's just a learning experience. Then maybe the next one will be better. It's the same thing with these videos. I think I'm doing less ums. I'm still hearing them while I'm doing them here, but I think I'm getting better at that. So anyways, remember to hit the like button, check out my other videos, subscribe, tell your friends, comment down below. I appreciate everybody who comments. And there was an so let's just close it out. Keep reading comics. And if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok yet, what are you waiting for? If you have seen it, tell me what you thought of it, but maybe wait for a video. You can tell me on the next video, or you can just say, hurry up and get that video out, and this is what I thought of it. I'm going to do it here. I'm not going to listen to you. Okay. Again, thanks. Love you guys. Super Comic Fun Time out.